Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Namo Namaha, Jai Ganga, Jai Shingadev. Sorry, I've been busy lately and had my birthday and went on vacation and things, so there hasn't been any videos, but today I want to show you one cool little alteration to a hand practice that we've been learning, and then I want to kind of dive deep into Lofa Taal and really describe three of the main Tehai structures that can be used in that Taal, as I know a lot of people, they don't play really Tehais for that, or they do, but they're not correct. They don't really have much foundation in Iskcon for Lofa Taal and for any kind of Tehais. So let's kind of nail those down and figure through them a little bit. One of them is quite hard, and I've just been working on this style, so I may or may not get it right. I can play it off camera, but on camera it's not like rock solid, so we'll see if I mess it up or not. But it's kind of breaks the Taal quite a bit in order to form this more complex Tehai. Breaking the Taal just means that you're not exactly following on Taal. You have to chant in between the Taal and figure out how to chant and where to space your Hare Krishna. So a little bit more difficult. But yeah, so this first one is the tere, kete. We've learned this, right? The tere, kete. Tere, kete, taka, taka. Tere, kete, taka, taka. Tere, kete, taka, taka. Very good finger practice and used in a lot of kirtans. Use it all the time. But now we want to show how to make it nicer and add a knock to it. So we have tere, kete, taka, taka. Now we have tere, kete, naka, taka. Tere, kete, naka, taka. Tere, kete, naka, taka. Right? Instead of tere, kete, taka, taka, that first ta becomes a knock. Kete, naka, taka. Tere, kete. Tere, kete, taka, taka. Tere, kete, naka, taka. Tere, kete, taka, taka. Tere, kete. Taka, taka, tere, kete, naka, taka. Tere, kete, taka, taka. Tere, kete, naka, taka. Tere, kete, taka, taka. Tere, kete, naka, taka. Tere, kete, taka, taka. Tere, kete, naka, taka. So now this becomes tere, kete, naka, taka. Tere, kete, naka. Tere, kete, naka, taka. Tere, kete, naka, taka. Tere, kete, taka, 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 taka. So you can do 4 and 8, single speed then double speed. Tere, kete, taka, taka. Tere, kete, taka, taka. Tere, kete, taka, taka. Tere, kete, taka, taka. 4 single speed. Then 8 double speed, tereketa, naka, taka. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's a really good practice to pick up on your knocks and just kind of strengthen your hand there and introduce. Knock is really important in kirtan because it has a lot more power and emphasis than just playing tas, and it's really just creates a really nice sharp tone and adds a lot more to a mantra. Like it sounds so much better like that. A little bit more advanced, and obviously your fingers and your wrist have to improve a lot to kind of accomplish that. But it's well worth the practice and kind of getting this dexterity in your fingers. I can't emphasize enough how important it is to curve your fingers as much as possible, literally. Because if you think about it, when your fingers are straight, the space that your hand has to move is so large. There's no way, I don't care how fast you get, that you can play quicker than someone that curves their fingers, because they're only moving millimeters when their fingers move like this compared to this. It's too much movement. So you have to, curving your fingers is super important in Mridanga, and something that not really many people teach. So let's look now at Lofa Taal. So we've given this first Tehai structure, but we'll go over it all so it's all together now. The Tehai structure for Lofa Taal, you have 12 matras essentially to work with. The structure is 6 and 6 and always in groups of 12. So the first structure is you can go 1, 2, 3. So the length of the phrasing is 3, 3, 6, 9. And then you have pauses, 2. So 9, 10, 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 is part of the Tehai, but it's the jha of the first actual, it's the one of the next set of 12. So it's considered to be 13. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then the first beat of your da, dee, 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 da is considered part of the Tehai, actually falls into that. So we'll write this out. So the length of the Tehai is a total of 13 matras. The phrasings are 3, and then the pauses are 2. Now, in Tehai structure, you always want to have 3 identical sets broken up, however that works. If you can't take 3 sets of each piece, then it's not a Tehai. So here we have 1, 2, 3, then 2 spaces, 1, 2, 3, then 2 spaces, then 1, 2, and the 3 falls onto the 1 of your foundational mantra in the next Taal. So how does this work? So we have the simplest version is 1, 2, 3, tere, tereketa, jha-a, do, tereketa, jha-a, do, 2 spaces. Tereketa, jha-a, do, tereketa, jha-a, do, tereketa, da, teeny, teeny, da. So tereketa, jha-a, do, right? 2 spaces there, full Taal. So when you're going tereketa, you're in double speed. Tereketa, 4, getakjha, 4, jha, 2 and 2 spaces, and then the actual length of the pause is then technically 4 matras and 4 matras for each space there, if you want to look at it like that. Or it's just 1, 2, 3, space, space, 1, 2, 3, space, space, 1, 2, 3. So it goes like this. 1, 2, 1, 2, So let's chant with this and see how this works. We're going tereketa, jha-a, do. So Hare Rama, Hare So that's how that Tehai is used. It starts on the Rama Rama, just as we're familiar with in Pahira Taal, where the tereketa jha-a, right? Tereketa teya, right? So that is the same style that we're familiar with all those Rama Rama Tehais that most people know in Iskcon and Pahira Taal. These are the same here, except we're going tereketa jha-a, do. We have these 2 spaces there. Whereas the other one is tereketa tere, right? So let's go through this again. Tereketa jha. Tereketa jha. 1, 2. Tereketa jha. 1, 2. Tereketa jha. 1, 2. And in Kirtan, I like to tap the mridanga. Just keeps beat. You can also add different things into those spaces if you like, but technically there should be a pause for this Tehai. So we have tereketa jha, tereketa jha, tereketa. So let's look at this again. And you could just do it single speed too, right? So like tereketa, tereketa, 1, 2, tereketa, 1, 2, tereketa. Or kita, 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 jha, 1, 2, kita, kita, jha, 1, 2, kita, kita. Rama, Rama, Hare, Hare. See that? So it's simple. Rama, Rama, Hare, Hare, Hare Krishna. Okay? Rama, Rama, Hare, Hare, Hare Krishna. So that's the first Tehai structure there. So we've shown jha. So you've got the double speed versions and now the single speed versions. They're all the same as what you know in Pahira Taal, just phrased differently here. Right? Pahira Taal, we have kete, kete, jha, kete, kete, jha, kete, kete, jha. Here we have kete, kete, jha, let go, kete, kete, jha, let go, kete, kete. Same mantra, different phrasing. Rama, Rama, Hare, Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, and then there on that Rama, 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 Hare Hare. So let's just start it from Rama, Rama. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So any of these fit there. So we'll go over all these, but we're just looking at the structures now, trying to kind of open your mind to the different ways that you can do things. So that's one way you can figure that out. So next Tehai structure is different. So we've got the length of the Tehai is the same as the previous one. However, the pauses have been cut down from 2 to 1, and a half of a phrase has been added in 2 places. So mathematically speaking, there's a lot of equations in math that you can run. You can form these Tehais in lots of different ways when you look at the amount of Taals that you have, 12 in this case, and you can say, hey, we can break it up like this, we can break it up like that. Once you learn Mridanga, once you learn some of the vocabulary, some of the bowls, tereketas, getagetas, jha-as, ta-as, tetes, some of the basics in the Taal structures, then there isn't someone that sits there and says, hey, you have to play like this, you have to do this. Like, it's super open. Like, this is teaching Raganuga Bhakti, where you are expanding and opening your mind to the possibilities of what you want to offer Krishna. So it's very beautiful. It's really sad that Iskcon, and not just Iskcon, it's not even Iskcon anymore, it's most of the singers, most of the people participating in Kirtan are very rigid and very stuck in their ways and very much like, they want to just keep things at a certain level, present things in a certain way, and they're not willing to go outside of that. And it becomes very rigid and kind of cold and difficult to play for people like that, because you want to just express yourself, and when you have the ability to as well, and other people are kind of stifling it becomes a difficult situation. And Kirtan in general can be difficult, and also build your tolerance levels and just build your bhakti as well, because it's not easy to perform kirtan with other people and all their egos and abilities or lacks of abilities and all these different, things that happen. But essentially, it should come to a point where it's free-flowing and where you're able to compose things, understand these Tehai structures, and be very free with what you're doing and kind of tune into the mood and not concern yourself if it's right, if it's wrong, is the crowd liking it? Does it sound perfect? Who cares, like we're all just trying to express ourselves here. And then saying that I'm not putting the singers down because obviously they're entitled to their freedom of expression, but my point is that a lot of them are not allowing themselves to freely express their kirtan. They're kind of bottling it up. And when you do that, it bottles up the mridanga and it bottles up the cartels and everyone else, because they're then not really able to freely express themselves because they have to follow the kirtan leader. So it's nice when the kirtan leader also understands all of this and the structure, because then they're not thrown off by what the mridanga player is doing as well. A lot of people will get upset because they just don't understand what's happening, and that's fair. But there should be more awareness amongst everyone in Iskcon that take their kirtan seriously and try to learn more of these things. So this is the first Tehai structure here. 1, 2, 3, ecto, 1, 2, 3, ecto, 1, 2, 3. Very simple, we've gone over that. Single speed and double speed. So yeah, so this second one, a little bit trickier, but not too difficult. So instead of counting 1, ek, do, now your length of pause is down to 1. And it's also breaking the taal. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we have 1 and 1. But those pauses are not full ones, they're actually half, right? Because we have only one pause. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you just count 1, 2 quickly, because it's actually only one pause. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, that 4 is falling on the 13th portion of the Tehai. The length of each phrase now has gone from 3 to 3.5, because we have, before we had 1, 2, 3 ecto, now we have 1, 2, 3.5 of 4 there. And you'll see when this is written out what that means. Surprisingly enough, this one is not difficult to counterplay. You just have to understand that your phrasing here, those matras are just 1, 2 out of 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 1, 2. Whereas the ek-do was all of actually 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ek. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ek. Do. Keta, keta, jha, ek, do. So here, much less pause. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this in double speed looks like, so we could have tereketa, tereketa, let's see. Keta, ketataka. Yeah, this one I'll write out in some single speed stuff too, but it's generally presented in double speed, this one. So we have ketataka tete, ketataka tereketa, ketataka tereketa getakjha, ketataka tereketa getakjha, ketataka tereketa getakjha, ketataka tereketa getakjha, 1, 2, ketataka tereketa getakjha, 1, 2, ketataka tereketa getakjha. Pardon me. Ketataka tereketa getakjha, 1, 2, ketataka tereketa getakjha, 1, 2, ketataka tereketa getakjha, 1. And then you're on that 1 again for the jha. So let's do it slowly. Ketataka tereketa getakjha, 1, 2, ketataka tereketa getakjha, 1, 2, ketataka tereketa getakjha. Ketataka tereketa getakjha, 1, 2, ketataka tereketa getakjha, 1, 2, ketataka tereketa getakjha, ketata. Ketataka tereketa jha, 1, 2, ketataka tereketa jha, 1, 2, ketataka. Well, I didn't count that one right, but I did it before. But yeah, let me show it to you here, and then we'll see. Ketataka, jha-a, 1, 2. Ketataka, jha-a, 1, 2. Ketataka, jha-a, 1, 2. Ketataka, jha-a, ketataka, tere, jha-a, 1, 2. Ketataka, tere, jha-a, 1, 2. Ketataka, jha-a, dun, 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 dun. So, Ramo, Ramo. And then you count just that 1, 2. Ramo, Ramo. And then I made a small mistake there by accident, but yeah, so, and this can be very powerful in the kirtan here, and it doesn't exactly have, how do we say it? It doesn't really have like full open spaces because it's kind of breaking the taal, but it's kind of more powerful than having those two because we only have one pause, so it's a little bit more of a potent tehai, but it's also more difficult to play. So this one's like the level 2 of Lofa Taal Tehai. So we'll just show this again. So again. So that's how that one is used there. I was slightly off on that last one. I just paused a hair too long. But without the kartals and stuff, when you have all the kartals and the kirtan and everything, it's a lot easier to show these things than if you have a metronome going and things like that. But we'll show it just once more here. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. So that one was perfect there. So when you're not singing, it sounds like this. Right? Jha, 1, 2. Jha, 1, 2. Ketataka, tereketa, jha, 1, 2. Ketataka, jha, 1, 2. Ketataka, ketataka, tereketa, jha, 1, 2. Ketataka, jha, 1, 2. Ketataka, ketataka, tereketa, jha, 1, 2. Ketataka, jha, 1, 2. So once you are able to speak that, play it, and figure out how to sing to it as well, then you're ready to use it in your kirtan. And we'll do it just once more, just for fun. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Again, slightly off on that one. Depends each one. Some of them I do perfectly, some I don't. But you get the hang of it. So the last tehai here, this one is a full tehai going from Hare Rama through. So we have 25 matra tehai, 24, plus the 1 on the da at the end there. This one is quite hard. I was playing this really nicely off camera, but I don't edit these videos or anything, so on camera we will see. Usually it's not as easy. So here we have, let's see, 3 groups of 7, 7, 14, and 21. And then we have 4 spaces for a total of 25. So we're doing 3 groups of 7 here. So we've expanded it from 3. Now we've expanded that harder one, 3.5, up to 7. And it really kind of breaks the taal here. The hardest part is just figuring out where to get the taal and where to sing it. But the math of it's pretty easy. So we have kete gegetete, kota gegetete, tereketa jha-a, 1, 2. Kete gegetete, kota gegetete, tereketa jha-a, 1, 2. Ecto. Kete gegetete, kota gegetete, tereketa jha-a, jha, right? So let's go over this. This is in double speed. Kete gegetete, kota gegetete, tereketa jha, do. Kete gegetete, kota gegetete, tereketa jha, do. Kete gegetete, kota gegetete, tereketa jha. So again, kete gegetete, kota gegetete, tereketa jha, do. Kete gegetete, kota gegetete, tereketa jha, do. Once more. So this is in double speed, so it has to be quicker than that. But we have kotete, kotete gegetete, kota gegetete, tereketa jha, do. Kotete gegetete, kota gegetete, tereketa jha, do. Kotete gegetete, kota gegetete, tereketa jha, dini da. So let's see if I can sing this. I did it. So that's how you do it there. Takes a little bit of brain power. You really have to delve into here. You can also chant to yourself and write the Hare Krishnas out so you can see where they're supposed to fall. The hardest part is after the 7, the 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 section. You have to know where to come in because it's in the offbeat there where you're singing the Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna. You got to find that Krishna on the one. So it's a little bit testy, but that's how that one's played. So we'll go over it once more. Kotete gegetete, kota gegetete, tereketa jha, do. Kotete gegetete, kota gegetete, tereketa jha, do. Kotete gegetete, kota gegetete, tereketa jha, dini da. Do. Kota gegetete, tereketa jha, do. Kota gegetete. Alright, so those are the 3 versions. We will continue to progress and learn a lot of these different structures and put them into kirtan. But this is a good starting point just to try to figure through these, and then I'll write all this stuff out, and we'll continue on with our mridanga playing as usual. Okay, Hare Krishna.